Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Mayor Lawson and members of the council. My name is Darren Jackson, and I'm the president of the Sparks Firefighters Local 1265. I'm a veteran, and I've been serving my community and country for more than 26 years. I'm here today representing the more than 60 firefighters working on the line of the Sparks Fire Department. When I was hired more than 20 years ago, the Sparks Fire Department was well-staffed, funded, and trained. In 2007, we had nearly 100 firefighters, and we trained for hundreds of hours every year. Since then, the population of Sparks has almost doubled, yet the fire department has shrunk by more than 25%. We're no longer respected by other departments. I'm extremely worried about the safety of our citizens of Sparks and for my sisters and brothers in the fire department. Our call volume has almost tripled since 1998. The national standard for fire response dictates that we can be anywhere in the city within 4 to 6 minutes. But the city has grown so much in the last 15 years that many parts of Sparks are outside that 6-minute window. In fact, we struggle to reach parts of the city in 12 to 15 minutes, which, in the case of a critical medical call, drastically decreases a person's chance for recovery and survival. Plainly, we don't have enough firefighters or stations to respond to our calls effectively. Last year, we had more than 11,000 forced overtime hours, and many of our firefighters are working 80-plus hours a week. We're in danger of browning out stations. While I appreciate you all taking my meetings over the last several months, we still haven't done anything to address this, so I'm here today to plead a little louder. For 15 years, the council has been talking about the need for Station 6. At this point, we need at least 2 more stations on top of that, and yet we haven't even begun to move forward on Station 6. We have to take action immediately. All of us are ready and willing to work with you to get this job done, but it starts with leadership, and unfortunately, we haven't seen any leadership at the fire department in a long time, which is also why I submit to you today that recently the Sparks firefighters took a vote of no confidence on the Sparks fire chief. Nearly 85% of the firefighters voted in support of it, with 10% abstaining. I have provided this declaration, which outlines some of the many reasons why we have no faith that the chief can lead us moving forward. This must be remedied and addressed immediately. I commit to you that I will be back at every council meeting to report and update on the situation until these issues are fixed. Until then, I hope we can continue meeting and get to work quickly fixing these issues. This isn't about politics or budgets or money. This is about people, and we've got to protect our people. Thank you.
Thank you. Jared Stewart, followed by Mike Hackler.
Good afternoon, Council. Jared Stewart, Vice President, Local 1265 for the record. I'm here to speak to you today about our most important mission at the fire department. Our most important mission is life safety. As many of you have heard, we've had a few incidents as of late which highlight the problem with our mission. Our mission statement even states the Sparks Fire Department will strive to provide the highest level of prevention, suppression, rescue, emergency medical care, and related services to the citizens, businesses, and visitors of the city of Sparks. Just a few weeks ago, as you were all informed, a member of the Toscana living community went into cardiac arrest in the early morning hours. We had a response time that exceeded 6 minutes. This response time exceeding 6 minutes was during the optimum times of a response. There was nobody on the roads at the middle of the morning. We could have had a chance to give them a better treatment should we have had a better response time. Furthermore, our members attempted to resuscitate this citizen for over 25 minutes. When they were on a physician trying to get direction to terminate resuscitation efforts, Story County Ambulance walked into the room because that was the closest ambulance to this citizen. With our current fire staffing model, even a single fire could mean that your citizens don't get any medical treatment. We are paramedics as well as the ambulance, but without us there to supplement the ambulance, it doesn't matter. We don't meet national standards for NFPA, our industrial standards, on any level of call outside of residential fires. Secondly, you may have heard we just had a victim of a fire in District 3 who we responded to in the late hours of the morning. This person, we didn't know if anybody was in there or not. We had reports that there were dogs inside as well as, which we could hear, and that an elderly couple lived in there. We decided to make entry against OSHA law because we had to make a decision that if we went inside, we could possibly save somebody's life. We did that with disregard for our safety because we care about the citizens' lives. In doing so, we found a person inside unresponsive who we then drug out, treated, and to my knowledge is currently alive because of our actions that day. If we had more staffing every day, we would have had the ability to go in there and help this person with due regard for our safety as firefighters. We don't just care about the lives of the citizens, we also care about our brothers and sisters in this business. We respectfully ask you to take consideration of that when you make your decisions regarding the fire department. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Hackler.
Hello, my name is Mike Hackler. I'm a firefighter paramedic with Sparks Fire. I've been here for almost 5 years. I came from another department where I had 10 years of experience. At that other department, I was well respected. I had great evaluations, and I continue to be a well respected member of this department. Since being hired, I have yet to see a full roster of firefighters in our positions. I was hired as a group of 5 when we needed 7. Those 2 positions that were not hired with my class 5 years ago have still not been filled. I've been promised and told many, many days since I've been here for the 5 years that we'd be moving towards another station. That was kind of one of the things I wanted to get while we were coming to this department. It still has not happened. I've watched our fire chief form committees trying to get members of our department to help progress this place into a better direction, only to look at those recommendations and turn it the other cheek and say, no, 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 I'm gonna make my own decisions. We have no leadership at our fire department. Over the last 5 years, I've watched it go from a place that I left to try and join because I thought that it was the pinnacle of fire service in this area, to being embarrassed of where I work. I have personally been told by our fire chief that I needed to make some moral sacrifices, that I needed to change some things on my evaluations because it didn't go with what the city wanted. These kinds of actions don't come from a leader. I really, really would like you guys to take a good look at this vote of no confidence. It doesn't come lightly from any of us as the firemen. We don't want to say that we don't have confidence in our fire chief. This is not a personal attack on anybody. This is your employees trying to do the best thing for the public that we serve. None of us would be here if we didn't enjoy helping people. But we need the tools to do that. And our fire chief is not helping in giving us those tools. So we're asking you guys as city council to give us the tools that we need. We need new leadership. We need to move in a better direction. We need to increase our staffing. We need to increase the number of stations that we have. This isn't about money. This isn't about personal vendettas. This is about keeping the citizens safe. I just ask that you guys keep that in mind as you go forward. My name is Mike Hackler. I'm a firefighter here at Sparks, and I have no confidence in our fire chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, Mike Pilcher, President of the Northern Nevada Central Labor Council. Local 65 is one of our affiliates, and I see another affiliate, at least one more in the room. Members of the council, good afternoon as well. About more than half of my members, 9 to 10,000 members, reside in Sparks, and response times are important to them. It's important to their families, it's important to their small businesses, to their communities. I see a desperate plea that I'm familiar with. Some of you may know that I spent 32 years in public safety in the sister city next door. I've seen different dynamics, whether it's a strong council or strong mayor or a strong city manager. Nevertheless, I think we work through those to provide the best services to the citizens. I can tell you this unequivocally, fire engines don't fight fire and they don't save lives. Neither do ambulances, neither do hook and ladder trucks or wildland apparatus. Manpower does. And you really need the manpower to accomplish the critical tasks at hand, whether it's a residential structure fire with primary attack, backup attack, exposure protection, topside ventilation, horizontal, vertical, primary search, secondary search, water supply, incident command, safety. Those are manpower intensive functions and has to work together as a team. They have to know each other's skills and there has to be a robust response. So on behalf of my 10,000 members, I would hope you would address this and prioritize in your budget the importance of public safety from a fire prevention and suppression position. So all hazards is not cheap. It's like the military. You know, our tanks are our fire engines, and we don't shoot bullets, we shoot IVs and water. But the cost is the same when you're dealing with Nomex and Kevlar and carbon fiber and constant training in CEUs. So I'd keep that in mind as you assess your budget priorities during the next, at least biennium. So thank you.
Good afternoon, council members. I'm here again to speak to you about the emergency situation that we're in. Over the last few months, we've lost 4 firefighters to other departments in the region. I'm concerned that we are about to lose several more. I don't want to give too much personal information in public, but we have 3 firefighters on other agencies' lists currently. Our firefighters are some of the best in the state, and I see no reason why they won't get hired. This will leave us even shorter than I expected. This is before Reno opens up their lateral positions soon. There's no way to know how many we will lose to them, but I'm sure it will be several. We've lost 5 firefighters, we have 5 firefighters in the pipeline. 3 or 4 will make it to be fully qualified members of the fire department. That's a net loss of 3 or 4. This doesn't count the number of people that will go to Reno and the current members that have been talking about moving up their retirement dates because they don't want to be around this summer when things get really bad. The following numbers are combat triage, nothing more. We need 63 firefighters to fill all the seats and cover our calls. We currently have 61 that are healthy and responding to calls. A net loss of 3 or 4 more will devastate our ability to handle calls in the city. This means that we will have to shut down an engine every day before we calculate any sick leave or annual leave or wildland assignments or losses to Reno or retirements. So conceivably, we will have 2 engines or more browned out most of this summer. This means we'll no longer have the ability to respond to any structure fires in the city with enough manpower. And during any fire incident, no one will be left in the city to respond to medical calls. I would call this an emergency that is unparalleled in our history, and you simply must act. There's no more time to wait and talk. I've also been trying to bring you a response map that shows our 4-minute drive time area for each station. I was forced to FOIA the current map that the city's using, and it's shockingly inaccurate. Places in the 4-minute drive time on the map actually take 10 or more minutes to get to. I tried to talk to the GIS person for the city only to find out what parameters were used to make the map, and I was told that he was ordered not to speak to me at all. I do have the beginnings of a map with data points on it for response times surrounding some of our stations, but a proper GIS study would be a lot better. We've also been locked out of all statistical data. We attempted to FOIA the database and were denied. Currently, we're waiting on the state attorney general's office to look at it and allow us access. Until then, we have a limited access to the numbers that prove our case to you. While this is inconvenient to us and slows down the dialogue to make change, it also has the appearance that the city is attempting to hide something. It looks funny that the city is not allowing access to hard data and statistics that are public record. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Darren Jackson, Spark Firefighters for the record. I've got just 2 things for you guys today. First of all, I've emailed you guys a request, and I've spoken a little bit about our response map that we're currently using. And I'd just like to formally ask you guys if you would assist me and allow us access to some of the statistical data. I have the ability to get a new response study done. These studies cost anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 typically, and I have a way that we can get it done for free. They're really good interactive maps. They'll go through census data. They will give us vulnerable population centers, call densities. It'll give us our 4-minute response times that we've said that we want to do. Because we're 3-person staffing, it will do a 6-minute response time for the OSHA 2-in, 2-out rule. It'll also do an 8-minute response time for the NFPA requirement of 16 people on scene of a fire. These are all interactive maps, so we can, at whatever you guys want to see, we can add into it. We can add a station here, we can add a rescue there, and there's a slider, and you can slide it across to see what it looks like now versus what it'll look like if we do something. So it'll really give us a really good tool to plan and move forward for the needs of the fire department. So, and again, I can get it done at no cost to the city, which I think is a really big deal. Takes a couple of months. I've spoken to the company. They're willing to put us at the top of the list because it can take up to a year to get that study done. But they said they'll put us at the top of the list, which means we'll get it done in a month or two. So I think that's a really big deal. I just need access to the databases that I can, and I can send emails to show precisely what we need. And then I can send that information off and they can build it for us. So, second thing, I'd just like to highlight a call. We had a call in District 5 last week. Engine 51 arrived on scene. Lady had all the symptoms of a pulmonary embolism, PE, which is a life-threatening condition. We don't have a huge ability to deal with that particular life-threatening type of event. Really, the biggest thing is rapid transport, treatment at the hospital by physicians. They waited 20 minutes for an ambulance to show up. Truckee Meadows 46 was not available. The RIMS ambulance came from Meadowood Mall all the way out to Wingfield Springs. As they pulled up, the lady coded, and they were unsuccessful at reviving her. So it just highlights our need that we really need to be able to transport. Whether we do it every day is an open question, but at the end of the day, we do, I think, need to have the ability to back up the system when the system lets us down. So just food for thought, and that's all I had for you guys today.
Thanks, Darren.
Morning, Mr. Mayor, council members. For the record, Darren Jackson, Sparks Firefighters. I apologize for not being here last meeting. I was on shift and couldn't get replacement. But I thought today I'd tell you a story about a fire we had on Friday. A little bit troubling. As luck would have it, my engine 31, was at the very end of our district on a call where a guy had dropped a piece of glass and lacerated his leg. Just finished up that call, and we got toned out for a structure fire at the Windsor Inn. You guys, I'm sure, are all aware of that, where that's at on Victorian Avenue.
City Manager Croots.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Okay, let's start with our invocation by Councilman Dare.
Would you please stand and join for this hazard? So.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to public comment. Darren Jackson, I'm going to get you up and out.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, council members. For the record, Darren Jackson, Sparks Firefighters. I apologize for not being here last meeting. I was on shift and couldn't get replacement. But I thought today I'd tell you a story about a fire we had on Friday. A little bit troubling. As luck would have it, my engine 31, was at the very end of our district on a call where a guy had dropped a piece of glass and lacerated his leg. Just finished up that call, and we got toned out for a structure fire at the Windsor Inn. You guys, I'm sure, are all aware of that, where that's at on Victorian Avenue. Because we were at the end of our district, we were close and we were first in about 3 minutes. Showed up, we had fire at the back of the building, burning up the back wall, going in the first floor window and the second floor window, and just breaching the third floor window as we arrived. So this is a 90-unit apartment complex where families live full-time. So it has a high occupancy load. This requires 27 firefighters to be on scene to fight this type of a fire. The fire did get inside a bit. We had a crew on the outside. We had a crew on the inside. We had a crew in the Thunderbird parking lot dealing with some fire over there. Total on-scene personnel was 12. That's all we had. Due to staffing shortages, we had an engine shut down and another engine at training. So we're used to being short. We're used to fighting fires with, short 1 or 2 or even 3 people. But being this short on a fire like that, we were very, very fortunate that my engine was really close. And that's uncommon. We don't get to that edge of our district very often for calls. So if we'd have delayed 2, 3, 4 more minutes getting an engine on scene, we could have had some major life safety issues on this fire. So I just wanted to highlight that and ask you guys again if you guys would please. I understand we can't have stations and everything that we desperately need right away. Would you guys consider increasing our staffing to 4-person staffing? So, and I'm going to tell you real quick, about 2 hours after that fire, we had a call for a commercial gas leak, confirmed severed gas line inside a building. Again, requires 27 firefighters. At this point, training was over, so 15 were dispatched. En route, 2 engines were broken away because we had multiple medical calls running in the city at the same time. So my engine broke loose and we headed over, but we were delayed about 8 minutes to a school where a child was having an extreme allergic reaction. So it's causing problems to our citizens. Wow.
Holy cow.
That's
You're not
very
going to miss that
efficient.
tone, are you?
No, not at all. So again, it highlights how short we are and that we are putting ourselves and the public at risk. And if there's any way that we can increase staffing, 4-person staffing is about $3 million. We could do it in stages or however you guys wanted to do it. But we're getting to critical mass here. We're starting to see multiple incidents a week where we're having problems. So, thank you. For the record, Darren Jackson, Sparks Firefighters. Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson, council members. I wanted to say thank you guys. There's 3 agenda items on your docket for us today. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for looking at this stuff and giving time and consideration to the things that we need. I wanted to say thank you to Manager Kreutz. I appreciate the 1 line item for that equipment. It definitely will help. It definitely makes a difference. The one thing I did want to say, though, is that equipment doesn't replace manpower. So it does take manpower to run the equipment. So I just would like you guys to keep that in mind. But just wanted to say definitely thank you guys for considering those line items. And that's all I had for you today.
Thank you, sir.